Reykjavik City Library has nominated Magma by Thóra Hjörleifsdóttir in the English translation of Meg Matich to the Dublin Literary Award this year. The translation came out in July 2021, simultaneously in the United States and Canada at the Black Cat Publishing House, but the original came out in Iceland in 2019 under the title Kvika. Thóra was born in 1986 and holds a master's degree in creative writing from the University of Iceland. Magma is a first-person narrative told by a young woman, Lilja. It's a striking account of psychological and sexual abuse in a relationship, year 2007 in Reykjavik. The book is dedicated to those who have broken the silence about abuse. She draws attention to a reality that has been suppressed and how important it is to eradicate the shame that victims of violence often experience, a shame that prospers in silence and isolation. The story begins with these words. Chlamydia. I didn't know it would be such a big deal. It's not like it's incurable. Nobody's going to die. We'll take antibiotics and then 10 days later, it'll be gone. But now he thinks I'm a total slut. And I must be since I've infected people. But I think he's being unfair. It shouldn't matter this much. He acts like I've rejected him because I've been with other men. We weren't together when I went to Central America. We'd gone on one date and I hadn't even slept with him. I was traveling alone, so I slept around because I had nothing better to do and I needed to fill in the gaps. I didn't know that something would grow between us. In fact, I thought it would never happen. But I became more and more taken with him as I traveled. Lilja is having a relationship with a man she admires and becomes very occupied with. Little by little, she loses her balance in the relationship, and the more she looks up to her lover, the more she looks down on herself. He is breaking her down, and she starts accepting bad behavior, lack of respect and boundaries, sexual abuse, multiple affairs, and blames herself for all of the psychological violence he inflicts on her. The boundaries she tries to set for him and herself are broken and disappear as the relationship progresses, and her own breakdown becomes obvious in the narrative. The novel is very concise. The fragmentary form of narrative is a big part of the story. It adds to the momentum and keeps the reader captive in the destructive tissue of the protagonist that resonates with our present times, speaking about the dark sides of a love affair, about abusive relationships, about obsession and toxic love. From the novel. Love. He's peeled me like onion. Surrounded by the leavings of my own sallow skin, I've dwindled to nothing and my eyes smart. The reader is inside Lilja's mind that is degrading to the point where she loses her grip of reality. Instead of blaming her perpetrator, she blames herself. Disapparition. I am such an idiot. How can one person be this much of a failure? I thought I could just wait it out until I was good enough, that he'd come to love me eventually. But he just looks through me. I am transparent. I don't exist. The story describes well the grave consequences of abusive relationships, where the one that is supposed to love and protect you is in fact the one that is hurting you. And what is called love is in fact something completely different. Magma makes us think about relationships and our responsibility for our own well-being as well as that of others. The story reveals a longing for being loved and approved, and how that longing can convert into a dangerous, destructive force. Magma is an intimate, quivering story, a text that is altogether sharp, true, and painful.